I kind of think of Shelley as like the Justice League. Everyone talks about, Brinley Cannon, but they're kind of like the Justice League. They just have a nice set of characters that back them up.
When it comes to high school sports, East Idaho never gets its due.
I ran into Jeremy Hess, the AD of Grace Luther, and, he was just excited. And then, I'm just talking to him and he goes, we have 7 girls. So just amazing.
But the East Idaho Prepcast has changed that, covering the biggest sports stories from Salmon all the way down to Bear Lake.
And again, Grace is always that team just kind of lurking, like, yeah, there's Grace. They, they don't have social media, but you know what? They have footballs, they got grass, and they got pads, and they use all those very well.
It's the East Idaho Prepcast with Sean Kane on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. Welcome to another edition of the East Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, breaking down top stories from Districts 5 and 6, potentially the best districts in the great state of Idaho. It's great to have you with us tonight. My name is Joel Richardson, and let's bring in our East Idaho expert and insider, Century's own Sean Kane. Sean, how's my shirt tonight, man?
That looks pretty good. It reminds me of like an old NBA Jam game for my Sega Genesis logo.
Totally.
And I like it. I like the retro classic look. So I mean, it's purple, but it almost looks a little blue on your screen tonight. So
yeah, well, and I don't have a Lakers shirt. I'm a Laker fan. Grew up in Southern California. I'm not a bandwagon. Always loved the Lakers. And tonight they play Luka Doncic. So this was the closest I could get to wearing some Lakers purple.
Yeah, there you go. Big trade, big problems.
Right. Well, hopefully it works out with all the injury reports and maybe the Doncic being out of shape, but I think that was all a way for Dallas to, make up for a terrible trade. But we'll see how it goes tonight. They play the Jazz, so we'll see. Great to have everyone with us. Remember, this show is brought to you by Ideal. It's a state-sponsored tax advantage savings plan that helps families pay for the cost of college. With the rising cost of college, developing a savings plan is the first and most important step in helping families finance a college education. An Ideal 529 account can be used towards higher education, a trade school, apprenticeship, or even those nasty student loan repayments. For more information, go to idsavings.org. We're so grateful for Ideal for sponsoring. It's a great opportunity to save some money as you get ready for college for your kids. Sean, it was a great week of basketball, a lot of district tournament play. But before we get into that, let's go to our player of the week and team of the week for East Idaho Prepcast. And it's got to be the dude, Snake River's Marcus Coombs, eclipsing 1,500 points. He is now, as far as we know, the all-time leader in Snake River history in points made.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to a couple of coaches last week, and we were talking about scoring records and things. And I go, the kid from Snake River, 1,500, and it was just like, that's amazing. Like, it is such a hard feat to do, like 1,000 points. How many years do you get like in the varsity jersey,
right,
in a program, right? I'm probably 4 for this guy, but it's not easy to do, and to be the all-time leading scorer, just a great job. And I mean, Snake River's on a mission this year, right? I think it's very clear what they want to do. They're very loaded with talent, and Marcus, 1,500 points is amazing. They just got a really close win over American Falls, which I found very, very intriguing. I don't know. I mean, it might have been American Falls' chance to take a piece out of the wood. They're the Beavers, but I don't know if they'll be able to, replicate that type of game against Snake River. I mean, it's just hard to beat a team like that. But Marcus, a phenomenal job. 1,500 points. It's just so hard to do in high school. I don't think people really think about how many points you're putting up, night in, night out to do that. Even if it's 4 years or 2 or 3, whatever you put on that varsity jersey.
Yeah, totally. And, you mentioned they're on a mission. We talked about the Snake River boys basketball team last week, but got to shout them out again because I know their coach, longtime coach /AD/dad, right, of Marcus Coombs, Robert Coombs. He does it all, man. But he's in his 32nd season. But he said in the preview, those season previews that you can go back and look at and see, okay, this was the preview. Now, how are things shaking out? It's really fun to compare those. But he said in the season preview, this might be one of his most talented roster, and he's coached for so long, but it's been such a pleasure to coach his kid, Marcus. But the team on the mission, Sean, they got the third place finish last year. They got bounced by Teton in that semifinal game. They went to the third place game. They won that one. That was last year. This year, though, a lot of senior talent, a lot of taller dudes. We've talked about this team. They're tall, athletic, they're good. And so I think Snake River, Bonners Ferry is going to be in the way. A few other teams might be in the way, right? Up there in North Idaho. But man, Snake River, they have a lot of momentum and a lot of good stuff going, including that close win over American Falls, who that was their chance. That was the Beavers' chance to, like you said, chip away some of that wood, chip away some of that lead that Snake River has. But Snake River won that game, and now they're 2 games ahead of American Falls. So even if Snake River, they have 1 or 2 more games left, even if Marcus Coombs and his team loses their next 1 or 2, they should still be solidified in that first seed. And Coach Robert Coombs said that first place seed, number 1 seed going into the district play, is massive for this conference, because he gives a lot of credit to the conference. It's a good conference. Having the home court advantage is huge.
Yeah, you have 2 teams that have a lot of wins, right? Snake River 18, American Falls 14, Marsh Valley 9, not that great, and a Bear Lake team that has won state championships in the past and has made an adjustment kind of into their new classification, right?
Right.
And and teams like that, there's only so many, there's not a ton of basketball players, I'm guessing, around the Bear Lake area. Like you're gonna get your teams, but Snake River has done a phenomenal job, Joel, and they haven't lost. Snake River hasn't lost since January 2nd.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's their only loss.
Yeah, to Bonneville, right? The Bonneville Bees, and it was a close one too.
Yeah, it was 40. Well, I mean, 10 points, 49-60, 11-point win there. But they've done nothing but wins since then, and pretty much it's been pretty good winning. I mean, that American Falls game was close, which did surprise me, but they'll play them again here. They'll have Marsh Valley and American Falls to end the season and the conference, and and led by 1,500 point scorer of Marcus. That's just a phenomenal job, just doing really well.
Yeah, for sure. So congratulations to Marcus Coombs, eclipsing 1,500 points, and he's on his way for more, of course. But he is our East Idaho Prepcast Player of the Week. Let's go to our Team of the Week, Sean. It's going to be the boys. Don't worry, girls. We're going to get to you in just a few minutes, but we had to shout out some boys here as they're finishing up their regular season, just a few more games across all classifications. But our Team of the Week is going to come from the Hillcrest boys basketball team, Sean. 9 wins in a row since that loss to Blackfoot. That was the close loss I was thinking about, Sean. 50-52 loss to Blackfoot. But since then, 9 wins in a row. What a great streak these guys are on.
Yeah, that was the thing. We were talking, District 6, 5A. Hillcrest has been on top for so long. Blackfoot beats them, and then we didn't really talk about it. I mean, we're like, oh, Blackfoot won. Well, Hillcrest comes out and takes care of Blackfoot 77-45, and then they just haven't lost a game since then. 9 games in a row, and they have pretty much just dismantled everyone they've played to on this road. After they probably heard us. Oh, they probably heard us and were pissed. And
hey, good for them to listen to our show.
They're 14 or 15-4, 8-1 in conference with that one loss.
Right.
Pretty much, I think they've solidified their number 1 seed going to that district tournament. They do have Idaho. They do have Shelley Wednesday, and then they have, which I think is a fantastic matchup to end the season. Hillcrest will play Rigby, and Rigby's battled Madison well. Rigby's played some good teams, very tough. So I think that's a great game for the Knights to finish with. But I feel like the Knights are going to probably take care of a kind of surging Shelley team that's gotten some wins too. So, but yeah, Hillcrest doing a great job. And it's all the same cast of characters,
right?
Tyson Sweetwood, Titan Larson, Brooksley, exactly. Mike McCarthy. It's just it's just all the same players. So these guys, I don't know if you watch football season, these guys know how to win.
A little bit. We watched a little bit of football.
Whether it's whatever field it's on in a court, these guys have done a really good job, and they all can shoot threes. So that's they're. I couldn't find it. I was trying to figure out. I wonder what their 3-point shooting percentages throughout the year. I bet you they're in like maybe 40%, which would just be phenomenal to shoot 40% from that 3-point line. But yeah, Hillcrest doing a great job. I think they're going to get that number 1 seed. Who knows what happens in districts, but I feel fairly confident going into this late stage that they're going to have a seat at that state bracket.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and to your point about 3-pointers, Hillcrest averaging almost 60 points. That's only better by Preston at 64, 65, and Skyview at 68. But Skyview also gives up 51. Hillcrest only gives up about 50. Preston only gives up 44. So Hillcrest is right there, top 3 in terms of scoring and points given up. So, and you mentioned also this, half the guys that we mentioned week in, week out from the football squad are on this team, another senior heavy team, which always bodes well going into district and state play. So Hillcrest definitely a favorite. Now, after we talked a lot about Blackfoot, Hillcrest may have had something to say about that. And they have had something to say about that as they are now number 1. Pretty comfortably, 8-1, and Blackfoot 7-3, Bonneville 6-4, Shelley 4-5. So Hillcrest with a couple games left, really one conference game left, comfortably in that first seed slot. So congrats to the Hillcrest boys for surging when it's at the right time. Reminds you a little bit of football, Sean. So sneak peek, watch out. These this Hillcrest boys team, they're serious going into district play. But congrats to them for being our East Idaho Prepcast Team of the Week, and I'd be amiss if I didn't shout out first-year head coach Matt Barber. Sean, I thought to myself, okay, it may take Barber to kind of get his feet under him a little bit. The dude spent 9 years as the JV coach. This is his 13th year in the program. So Matt Barber, he's not like this new coach. We're gonna give him a shot. This guy, he knows how to coach. He knows these kids. He knows the program.
He's no stranger to the dungeon.
Exactly
what they call it up there.
The
dungeon. He's no stranger. And I was going to say, it would be interesting if we kept kind of a tally. I feel like there's a lot of first-year head coaches, and it'd be interesting to see how first-year head coaches do and comparatively to some of the other ones. But yeah, it's his first year with the HC title, but definitely evolved in the program for a long time, knows what he's doing, and they've really put together a nice season.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, with that, again, congratulations to Hillcrest Team of the Week, and also Snake River's Marcus Coombs for being the Player of the Week for the East Idaho Prepcast. Sean, let's get into girls district tournament updates. We're going to go through each classification. We may hit one more than one district, one conference more than another, just because there's more to talk about there. Some of these district tournaments have kind of gone shock. Others more interesting, so we'll hit some more than others, and we'll do a few pick'ems, Sean, for some interesting final championship games in these district plays. You ready?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Bold predictions. I'm all about it.
All right.
What do you want me to say?
We're just lighting the fire under some of these teams. We did it for Hillcrest, and now we're doing it for for somebody else. All right, here we go. Let's start with 6A, and we'll go down from 6A. Sean, you don't have to see our mugs, and now you can just look at the bracket. So 6A High Country Conference. That's of course districts 4, 5, and 6 with the updates, with the changes to the classifications. Canyon Ridge joined this group, and Canyon Ridge coming in number 5, immediately lost to Highland, and they're bounced. But Rigby, they go on, and Madison defeats Thunder Ridge. They go on, and surprise, surprise, Sean, we got Madison Rigby. Winner goes to state, and loser goes down and plays the winner of Thunder Ridge and Highland.
Yeah, the only thing that I probably didn't 100%, I thought Thunder Ridge might throw a little more of a wrinkle into this, and they didn't.
No, Madison.
Madison took care of business, and I think that again, Madison is kind of knew what they were doing. Madison Rigby played 2 times this year very closely. This third time, I expect nothing different, but I am gonna go Madison. The same group of girls made it last year. this is a very different Rigby team than last year, right? We've got a lot of the these big time players are no longer there. Graham, Barber, gone. It's a different team. The Madison team, they lost one senior. It's the same team. And so they've got 1 year state experience. I think Madison punches their ticket. And it'll be interesting where they pan out. Now, 2 teams make it. I definitely think Rigby is still that other team to make it.
Right. Yeah, if Madison beats Rigby, then Rigby, I think, definitely wins that final game as they get bounced to the bottom of the bracket. Sean, just for parity's sake, I'm going to go with Rigby, man. Rigby's won plenty of games. They've beat Madison. They beat them in overtime by 2, and I'm trying to catch their other regular season game. Yeah, and they beat Madison by 3. I think Rigby's got Madison's number, and I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Rigby. The winner of the game owes one of us an ice cream cone. All right.
Okay.
So you got Madison. I got Rigby. Anything else you want to say about this bracket before we move on to 5A?
No, I think it's been on a course that whole way, and
right.
I'm going to tell you, Joel, get your pocketbook ready because it's hard to beat a team 3 times, especially 2 teams that do not like each other. Like this, there's not going to be. It's not going to be happy. It's not like, it's good to see you, Sally.
Yeah, good.
They want to go out.
Yeah.
They want to go out and play. They're good sportsmanship. But I mean, like, it's going to be a battle, and definitely hard to beat a team 3 times.
Okay, I like it. Well, yeah, we'll see if Rigby can pull it off. But yeah, I like it. Okay, Rigby, Madison. Sean's got Madison. I got Rigby. 5A High Country Conference. Basically, yeah, right. Yeah, we lost. Basically, gone chalk. We try to throw in some sleepers. Maybe Hillcrest would do something. But no, Skyline wins. Blackfoot wins. Skyline, Blackfoot champion goes to state. Loser of this bracket goes down and plays the winner of the Hillcrest and Idaho Falls Shelley game. Who do you got here, Sean? Skyline, Blackfoot.
Oh, man.
Well, sorry. You know what? Let's talk. Any surprises here from this one?
No. Well, I think what you're kind of gingerly stepping around, Joel, is that Hillcrest Blackfoot game was extremely close. 52-49. It wasn't like it's chalk as far as the numbers, but
right.
Hillcrest was in striking distance of that game. Whereas Shelley, I think, also performed pretty well.
They did
against Skyline, which we knew could happen. But I think we talked about. I think the number is 60. Like if Skyline gets to 60, I think they win a game.
Yeah. If
Blackfoot keeps the team under 50, they win the game. And I think these numbers are very vindicative of both their seasons. But right now they're kind of even. I think maybe. What happened last year? Maybe Blackfoot wins this time. Skyline has to go the hard way. Maybe that's what I'll think now. Maybe the reverse of it. But I still think Skyline and Blackfoot both make it to state.
Yeah, and
then it doesn't matter because Mac Prep seeds it. I mean, one gets to be a champion, but in the reality of all of that really matters. It doesn't. As long as you both make it, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And their Max Prep ranking blows my mind of where they're ranked comparatively to some other teams across the state, which they'll end up playing each other first round. So think about that. They play this game, one of them goes down, has to play, and then they could end up playing first round at state again, which is just that's the real story here. No, these games,
right?
That this district championship is going to happen here, and then in a couple of weeks it could happen again first round.
And if you're on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, you'll see Sean and I probably once a week, Sean, at least, or maybe at least once a month. We're talking about this and the problems with these rankings, and that we're going to end up having. Right now, it's projected on IdahoSports.com. You can go to Baney's bracketology. Brandon, that was funky. Baney's bracketology, and you can see that right now you have all East Idaho on the bottom part of the bracket of the state bracket. Again, this is just projections that Brandon Baney is putting forth, but based on rankings and projections, right now you have Pocatello, Skyline, and Blackfoot all in the bottom part of the bracket. So East Idaho just deleting itself, and only one team can come out alive and end up playing a team from the top bracket. So you wish that it could be, okay, great. Max Preps ranks its teams, but then let's like move this team here and move this team there and just have a bit more parity and not have it in a massive East Idaho bottom bracket. But that's how it goes. That's what we're using. So we work with it. Sean, an interesting game for me. I know I said Skyline or Blackfoot, but this game at the bottom, I'm assuming Shelley beats Idaho Falls. And maybe I shouldn't assume, but then Shelley Hillcrest, that's going to be the game I'm interested in. Again, Shelley's got to take care of business tomorrow night at 7:00 against Idaho Falls at Shelley. But if Shelley wins that Shelley Hillcrest game, like you said, Shelley plays Skyline tough every game, and I'm curious how that Shelley Hillcrest game ends up going. Any thoughts on that one before I give my prediction on Skyline Blackfoot?
Yeah, I mean, Shelley is a team that I can't batten down the hatches on.
Right.
Sometimes I think they have a chance to sneak in here. Then sometimes I think it's Hillcrest is really the third team.
Yeah.
But both teams scored 49 points against Hillcrest scored 49 against Blackfoot. Shelley scored 49 against Skyline. I do think Shelley maybe wins against Idaho Falls. You know what hurts Shelley is size, and Idaho Falls does have some size and can wreak some havoc if Shelley doesn't make shots. So I do think Shelley moves on, and then I definitely think I think Hillcrest still goes there. And then I mean that game, if it's Hillcrest, Blackfoot, Hillcrest, Skyline, I think you've got popcorn ready games, no matter what you're looking at.
Definitely. And I think Shelley beats Idaho Falls as well. Shelley did beat them 3 times this season, once in the postseason in district play, and then 2 times in the regular season. So I think Shelley beats Idaho Falls one more time for the 4th time this year, and then playing Hillcrest. Yeah, that's going to be a popcorn game. Very interesting. You want to know why I think we can't button down Shelley? We can't figure them out. It's because they live and die. Unfortunately, this is just the makeup of their team. They live and die by the 3, right? They got some great shooting from outside, but if they go cold, they don't have much else going. They got their Carlson down low, who plays well down low, but I think their bread and butter is really moving the ball in the perimeter, breaking down the zone, kicking in, and then getting the ball inside, kicking it back out for the 3, and Mia Williams and company really leaning on those 3-pointers. So when Shelley gets hot, watch out, right? But man, so often the shots aren't falling. And so, yeah, that's why they're about 500 this season. So anyway, interesting. I think they beat Idaho Falls. That Shelley Hillcrest game is going to be awesome. Skyline Blackfoot. You went with Blackfoot. I'll go with Skyline again for parity. Loser has to buy the other an ice cream cone, Sean.
All right. Yeah, we know. Yeah, you going for Skyline is like,
you chose Blackfoot. I had to.
Kid not wanting McDonald's.
I promise I'm not biased.
I will not have a Happy Meal. No.
Yeah.
No, it's good. And I was just going to say quickly back to this 5A girls as a whole.
Okay, go ahead.
Right, because you made the point that all East Idaho, if it happens today, is on the one side of the bracket.
Right.
And it has and don't take this bad. I think Pocatello is a phenomenal team, the Pocatello Thunder girls, right?
Right.
But I think, the rankings have them 1, which I don't understand because they have 1 more loss than Middleton,
right?
And Middleton played 6A Boise teams.
Yeah, Middleton has a better strength of schedule, honestly.
But anyways, it hurts Pocatello being the number 1 seed. I think that if it happens today, that half of the draw is just terrible, like terribly hard.
Yep.
I wouldn't feel if I was a coach and just be like, this is how this got seeded. What, we have a ranking system? Oh,
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Pocatello's 1, Middleton's 2, Mountain Home 3, Skyline 4, Blackfoot 5, and Hillcrest is 6. And so one of those teams are 4, 5, and 6. One of those teams isn't going. Or 2. No, 1 isn't going. 1 makes it no matter what. Yeah.
Right. Right. 1, and then the runner-up goes to state. Yeah. Hillcrest or Blackfoot or Shelley.
And then maybe Scott Burton and Brandon can explain to me how Mountain Home is 3. Like, it is mind-blowing to me. Skyline's strength of schedule is higher. They have a couple more losses, but they played harder teams.
But they played harder teams early on in the season, and we highlighted that. Yeah.
And then the teams they play in their conference are Blackfoot, Hillcrest, and Shelley's 10. So there's not Jerome's 8. So Mountain Home plays one team in their conference that's good, and Skyline, Blackfoot are playing 3 teams in the top 10. How is your strength of schedule not hard? Anyways,
I think
mind-boggling to me.
It totally is. Maybe it's the wins, right? Maybe they just maybe just winning.
But Middleton
carries more weight.
Middleton has more wins than Pocatello, and they're 2.
It's like the classic at work. We talk about some of our employees who join our company. They end up just having to go to random places sometimes in their first gig on the job. And we talk about it's like a monkey just throwing darts at a dartboard, right? And like, you're going to go to this place. You're going to Pocatello. You're going to New York City. And it's like, wait, that doesn't match my, So I wonder if maybe there's a monkey throwing a dart. It's
one I
crazy.
talk with other people. And for the most part, I think it's been pretty good, right? I feel like it's the right direction. But this 5A girls, like, I need someone to come, I need someone to call me, like, sit me down, maybe put up the posters with the sticky notes and like draw it out to me. But I just don't get it. I think you have a lot. I think also you have a lot of teams that are all kind of in the same boat that are really good. And then you have, maybe like your Middleton and Pocatello that I would put slightly ahead of the people that are below them, which I think it'll just be a fantastic tournament, however it pans out. I think just one side, if it happens today, is way harder than the other.
For sure. Yeah. All right, Sean. So I got Skyline, you got Blackfoot. Whoever wins goes to state. They're the champion. Loser goes down to the bottom and has to play Hillcrest or Shelley or Idaho Falls, but probably Shelley. And we'll see how that goes. Games are tomorrow. That's going to be Idaho Falls. Idaho Falls Shelley's tomorrow. Then a few days later, Hillcrest, the winner of that one. And on that same night, it's going to be Skyline Blackfoot. Again, more popcorn. Going to be a great time. This could be like 36th, 37th time that Skyline and Blackfoot have played each other in the last 10 years. So super, super fun. Let's quickly do this bracket. No surprises here. Pocatello's number 1. No one's given him anything to think about. Preston Century having down years. Pocatello should win easily. Again, it's always hard to beat the same team 3 times, but when you're winning 70-36 plus, you're pretty comfortable there, Sean.
Yeah, I do have one interesting story about this bracket. I was just informed that what time I was informed the game against Century and Preston was moved up in time, but it was like the same time as the wrestling match, so they had to change it. So I don't know.
Really?
It'll be interesting, or maybe they'll just have the basketball and wrestling going on at the same time. I don't know, half court.
That's right.
But that's what I heard. No, Pocatello will probably wrap this one up, put it to bed. It's for Pocatello, to me, it's like, are you going to be prepared to go to state from this? I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Good question.
That's been the question we've had the whole time. Did they play enough difficult teams to match what other teams have played? Just because I saw them last year against Skyline, like a Skyline Pocatello semifinal is going to be electric at state if that's what happens. And both teams will remember what happened very well last year. So but Pocatello clearly in the driver's seat.
Sure are. All right. And looking forward to that storyline. Going to be watching that very closely. Was Pocatello prepared enough for state? All right. For a Mountain Rivers Conference, District 6. No surprises, but it's been close, Sean. South Fremont is knocking on that door, and I follow their Instagram. I try to follow every team in East Idaho, their Instagram, Facebook, if they have one. And South Fremont's is cooking. Dude, they cannot wait to play this game at Sugar Salem. They get them again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Wish I could get up there for that game. It should be awesome. Who do you got in this one, Sugar or South Fremont?
Oh, man, this has got to be probably one of the most anticipated girls district games I can think of. I mean, I think Skyline Blackfoot is up there too, but they played 30 times and
right.
But this Sugar South Fremont knocking on the door, and they've played extremely well. They beat Teton pretty easily by 20 points, right, in this tournament, and then only to lose to Sugar by 1 point. Man, very interesting. Both teams will have an opportunity to make it to state, right? One district champ will go. The runner-up will have a play-in game. I like whoever doesn't win. I like them as the team to win the play-in game. I don't really care where it's around. I mean, this is one of the best leagues conferences in the whole state. Between even Teton isn't bad. Teton in another conference, maybe makes it. Right. They're just these two really good teams. So you want me to pick who's going to win this game?
Yeah. Pick your favorite. Sugar or South?
I'm going to go Sugar still. It's at home.
Okay.
I don't see. You had your shot. If they win that game, does it turn it into a home game for South Fremont? This next one, I wonder. I can't remember how that works sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? If South Fremont would have won, would this next game been I think home game, like a flip, right? Because you flip
it is. It's at winner of game 4, as it says on there. So if South Fremont wins, they would play at South Fremont for that final game.
And it's all in when you have these small brackets, and trust me, I know about them here in District 5.
Right.
You got to beat a team twice. Like, that's what it comes down to.
That is the question.
Can you beat them twice when it matters? And Sugar has beat them twice already, and now a third time. I believe this would be the fourth time at home. I like Sugar just by the way it's been going and how they've been. They had the close game, got out of it. They've responded all year. Coach Crystal doing a great job.
All right, I'm going to go with South Fremont because, like I said, they're knocking on the door. They're so close. I think they get Sugar here, Sean. Unfortunately, like you said, you got to beat the same team twice. In this case, it's 3, 4, 5 times. No. South Fremont wins this game, but then Sugar Salem goes to South Fremont and beats them there. South Fremont will go to the state play-in, and I think, bear with me. Yep. So the South Fremont or Sugar. I'm going to go with South Fremont, who they will end up having to go to the play-in game. They play the loser of District 6. So District 6 versus the loser of District 5, excuse me. So 5 and 6 will play each other. So it's going to be an East Idaho play-in game. Unfortunate, because I think in 4A, East Idaho is top, right? So I'm going to go with South Fremont this game, but then the next game, because it's got to beat them twice, I'm going to say Sugar Salem does win that game and South Fremont becomes the runner-up. So let me write that down. I got South Fremont, you got Sugar. And let's see, the next game will be also this week, right? They play, and I like how they're playing, Sean, back-to-back nights. Some of these other classifications, they give them 2 or 3 days rest, and we'll talk about that in a little bit when we get down to 1A. But Sugar Salem, South Fremont tomorrow night, and then they turn around and play each other the next night. Love it.
Yeah, that's state. You play back-to-back.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're playing 3 nights in a row, right? Every
team
wants to be playing 3 nights in a row.
Exactly.
Right? No one goes up not wanting to play. Why not do it that way? And I mean, I understand there's reasons and things in school, and but if you have the opportunity to do it, it's great. Because if we're gonna look at the next bracket,
let's do it.
District 5, right? And so Bear Lake, we like Bear Lake, and
definitely.
That's why I said even if South Fremont, doesn't, South Fremont versus what? Marsh Valley more likely.
Yep.
I mean, I like South Fremont on that. Sorry, Marsh Valley, but Marsh Valley, how about them?
Yeah.
I called that one, dang it. I said I like Marsh Valley.
Yeah.
They're going through, and they did it. They took care of American Falls twice. Their big rivalry. And the second game, kind of surprising, right? 46-28. Marsh Valley wins that. And I mean, they did have a tough time with Bear Lake, but I like Bear Lake here. Give me the Bears to get back. They've moved up a classification. They're defending champions. I like them going forward.
Definitely. No, then this was one of the only upsets, if you want to call it that, of this week last week was the number 3 seed in Marsh Valley. And we said it, they're on they're peaking at the right time. right? And you called Marsh Valley beating American Falls. They did just that. So there's the upset. There's your upset. We got a few more in 3A and I want to say 1A maybe, but 1A. So we have a few more upsets to talk about 3A, 1A, but this was one of them. Marsh Valley beats American Falls twice, by the way. And we'll play Bear Lake. Probably lose that game. Bear Lake is on a tear this entire season, and it goes all the way back to the volleyball season. Sean, the Bear Lake girls just dominating volleyball now in girls basketball. Marsh Valley will go on to play. We're going to call it here South Fremont, and probably South Fremont takes that. But man, if you're Marsh Valley, you're feeling good. You were the third seed coming in. You want to get to state, but I would say you're kind of playing with house money at this point. You got nothing to lose. Go out and play your game, and maybe you can get an upset on Bear Lake, or if not, maybe you can get an upset on South Fremont. But Bear Lake, the favorite here. Marsh Valley will end up playing against South Fremont. South Fremont probably takes that one. Anything else about the SCIC for 4A girls?
Nope, we got it.
All right, let's go to the Nuke Conference, the Nuclear Conference District 6. 3A girls hoops. Ryrie, they were the favorite coming in. The Fighting Matt Harris's AD Matt Harris told us at the beginning of the season, Ryrie volleyball is going to be good. Ryrie basketball is going to be good. A girls basketball. And so far, man, he's been the Nostradamus for his team. The Ryrie Bulldogs taking care of Salmon, taking care of Firth, and now they'll play the winner of North Fremont and Firth. That game's going on right now.
It's over.
At 6. Oh, it's over. So do you have a final score, Sean?
Yeah, North won 52-45.
Wow. Okay. So North Fremont, because West Jefferson, they did something, Sean, right? They beat North Fremont. And I liked West J, but they ended up losing to Firth. So we got something right there. And then they played North Fremont. North Fremont took care of business there. And then the Huskies beat the Firth. It's the Cougars, right?
Yep.
Firth Cougars. And so the Huskies will play Ryrie. So the 3 seed versus the 1 seed. Anything you want to, any kind of surprises first, and then we'll go into our predictions?
No, I mean, I think I kind of went first, so I have to tip my hat and to North Fremont for coming.
Yeah.
Now they're going to have a chance to go to state now. Either they win Wednesday or get a chance in a playoff game. But what a wild conference between these 3 teams, like Firth, North Fremont, and Ryrie. The conference is just wild, and no surprises here that North Fremont comes through. And I think if North Fremont didn't have some injuries, there would be a little different story about North Fremont. I think a different storyline, but I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna take North Fremont to win the championship.
Love it. How crazy would that be? Losing Josie Richardson at the beginning of the season. I think she had a ACL tear or something. Yeah, so that a big deal that North Fremont has gotten this far. And a lot of times you see these teams, when you lose a star player, they rally it together and their chemistry just gets really tight. And their confidence, again, they're kind of playing with house money. No one expects us to do well. We lost one of our best players. And we're going to go in and we're going to beat Firth and we're going to go push Ryrie. So I like it, Sean. I'm going to go with Ryrie. The fighting Matt Harris is the Bulldogs, and they'll win the district. They'll go to state, but then North Fremont will go to that state playing game, and we'll see how that goes. Speaking of which, let's go to the SCIC, and who else, Sean, but the Malad Lady Dragons taking care of business.
Yeah, I mean it's been my team of the year, right? I feel
right.
Like I've talked more about the Malad Dragons than anyone has ever talked about, and it's because they played well. I mean, they're 21-1, Joel. They beat teams by an average of 23 points. They're good. Trevor Jones has got the team firing on all cylinders. I would be highly surprised if Soda Springs wins. But they've beaten Soda Springs basically by 20 plus points the both times they played. They just, except for the one time Wednesday, January 29th, Malad only won 41-32. But I feel like Malad is the team to make it. And then this just in, Joel.
Yeah, what do you got?
Grangeville won its 7th consecutive district championship tonight. So Grangeville in this classification. So it'll be really interesting to see. Everyone talked about Grangeville last year.
Yep.
Everyone was pretty high on Grangeville this year as well. But they're only like a 4th seed, but congrats to them on their
Definitely.
69-33 win. But yeah, Malad is coming.
Definitely.
They're flying in.
They're flying in with fire-breathing dragons. Malad Soda, they're both going to go to state. Their tickets are punched to state already. They're in the bold. If you go to Bainey's bracketology, you'll see that Malad and Soda are in bold. They're the only East Idaho teams, Sean, that have punched their tickets to state. And of course, you look at the left side of the bracket, you got Declo Wendell. That's a great rivalry there. Westside Aberdeen. The winner of this side of the bracket will go to the play-in game and play, again, going back to the Nuke Conference, will play the loser of Ryrie and North Fremont. Sean says it's the loser is going to be Ryrie. I say the loser is going to be North Fremont. So going back to SCIC, that left side gets to play the loser of Ryrie, North Fremont. But congrats to the Malad Lady Dragons dominating this season. Soda Springs, a late push, Sean. We weren't talking about Soda Springs much this year. But man, they've really taken off the last, I would say, 10 games, maybe fewer than 10 games. And they solidified that 2nd seed, and they've shown that they belong. So, man, congrats to the Cardinals. Is that right? Soda Springs Cardinals, right?
Yes,
Did I get that right?
Cardinals. Matt Groening there, the coach.
Good stuff from Soda,
and they've been predominant members of the Going to State Club for a long time, and they know where the sweatshirts are, the chocolate milk. Soda's no strangers, and they have had kind of like an up and down year, and I think the reason probably not as much credit is because this district did, I think, the smartest move out of anyone is adding these teams, right? Wendell and Declo,
right?
To this conference, you get 2 teams that are going to make it and a play, and like you've just really upped the ante for your district. So I think they've done really well. I think Soda Springs is just kind of fitting into that. They still ended with the 2nd best conference record, 7-2, but a lot of games still left to play, really, on the back end of this, right?
Yeah.
Soda and Malad, they're going to go. It's not going to matter. But Declo Wendell, Westside Aberdeen, 2 big rivalries, right? They didn't end up playing each other, you know what I mean? But they're old rivalry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Westside Aberdeen, what a rivalry. Declo Wendell used to be in their own little conference, and they get the honor of playing each other today. Actually, this is probably went final at some point. So
right, they're playing right now. It's been 1 hour 15 minutes since tip off. So if anyone has a update from the Declo Wendell Westside Aberdeen, please comment below and let us know what you got there. All right, Sean, that's 3 SCIC. Like you said, still a lot of basketball left. Not much basketball left here, Sean. 2A, Districts 5, 6. It's the High Desert Conference, included with Alturas Prep playing Grace. Grace, easy win there, 70-4. Butte County beats Grace only by 5. And Sean, you call it every year. Watch out for Grace. They may not have as many wins as Butte County, but every time these teams play, most times I should say, it's close. And sure enough, it was close in that game too. They're playing tonight at 7. They're playing right now. If you have an update, anyone out there watching our show, if you have an update on Butte County Grace, please let us know in the comments below what that score is. Winner goes to the state play-in. Loser gets 2nd place. If Grace gets that win, they play one more time, again at Thunder Ridge, for the final. So, Sean, any thoughts on Butte County Grace?
They're going to play again, Joel. And then if necessary, they're going to play one more time. I mean, it's just Grace got 1 win the regular season. It was close. They're going to play again. I wouldn't be surprised if they use all the brackets that were drawn for them when it's all said and done. They're like, if they drew this extra little bracket down here, we might as well use it. So let's draw it. But no, I like Butte County. I think to come away with it at the end of the day. And I do have an update. In the 4th quarter, Westside is up 49-42 over Aberdeen.
Okay, so let's just really fast. Let's look at that. So Westside leading Aberdeen by 7, you said?
Yeah, and maybe 2 minutes left. I can't quite tell. But
okay, cool. Whoops. Hey, look, there we are. We're still on the show, everyone. We're not just talking from who knows where. Butte County, they should take care of Grace, no problem. They go to the play-in game, and then hopefully they can get to state 2A. I'll be actually doing that one, Sean, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But I'm looking forward to hopefully broadcasting the Butte County Lady Pirates at state. All right, Sean, last one for girls district tournaments. The massive Rocky Mountain Conference, man. 1A districts 5 and 6. It's huge. You get three to state, 3 bids to state. Rockland Mackey, this was one of those. Well, this is one of the 2 upsets, if you want to call it that occurred in East Idaho. Chalice losing to Mackey 48-45. It was a close one. Mackey gets it, and they'll play Rockland. What do you got here? What are some of your thoughts from this bracket?
Well, the team I was big on was Ledor, and they played so well and came up just a little bit short against Rockland, 37-31. Ledor was a team I really, really liked all year. Unfortunately, congrats to Rockland for moving on. And Chalice Mackey has been in this tango and everything, it seems like, this year, where one is just getting the better hand of each other. But what, no surprise here. I bet you if we could look up, it's probably been Rockland Mackey in this district championship in girls for a long, long time. And, my first time to get a call state basketball was, I think, the 1A level, where it was like Rockland and Mackey. So it's a tale as old as time. And I do like, I'm going to go with Rockland to finish this out. But okay. I like Ledor being that other team coming out of there. It'll be interesting to see how Chalice responds, right? Being the 2 seed, and now you're back where you didn't think you were going to be. It'll be really interesting to see how they respond. But I do like Ledor being that 3rd team.
Right on.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know, because we're here in Pocatello. We go to Grace Lutheran games often. I'm gonna go with that side of the bracket. I wasn't planning on this, Sean, but yeah, let's talk about the left side. Chalice. I'm gonna go with the Chalice Lady Vikings. Saw them play. They had a hiccup against Mackey, but it was only a 3-point loss, man. So I'm gonna stick with Chalice here, getting to that 3rd and final slot to state, defeating Ledor or Grace and Shoban. Those games are actually tomorrow. And Sean, this was surprising for me. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to go with Mackey Miners, man. Going with Mackey to beat Rockland. So I got Chalice. You have Ledor. I got Mackey. You got Rockland. This is the parity that we need here on East Idaho.
There we go,
everyone. But I thought it was interesting, and as I thought about it some more, I think I know the answer. But Sean, these games don't end till Friday, right? Or a Saturday even. So the final game, Rockland Mackey, is Saturday the 15th. And then the winner of Shoban Chalice, Ledor, Grace Lutheran is the same day. They're both going to be at Snake River High School. That gives them less than a week to prepare for state. My only understanding, as I thought about this, I thought, well, maybe it's just because they're trying to do it at these schools, at a school where everyone can kind of meet halfway. And they have to schedule, because it's at another high school, they got to schedule around girls hoops, boys hoops, maybe some wrestling. And I'm guessing that's why it's so late. If that's not the reason, they got to play sooner, man, and get more rest and get more prep for state.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a double-edged sword. I think some teams are going to be like, yeah, I just like to be done and rested up. But also there's, you see how even the small conferences are stretching it out a little bit more. District 5A could have been done last week easily. Right. Yeah. But then we've stretched it out a couple days, put a weekend in there, because you don't want to probably be too complacent for a week.
You don't want to be cold.
But get this though. I love your point there, but I'm just looking at the arbitrary ranking system for 1A, and Rockland is number 5, Rockland's number 4, Ledor's 5, Chalice is 9, Mackey is 10. So Chalice, who got the 2nd seed, is only ranked 9th.
Wow.
So if Mackey wins, they go to state anyways, so it won't even matter. But they're because they're ranked 10th, so they'll probably be like a 7 or 8 seed. So it's kind of interesting. No matter how it pans out, Chalice could be in good shape, but they're only ranked 9th in max prep. So however this ends up and what teams make it, the bracket is going to be kind of wild. Mm-hmm. And they're going to end up playing each other again, I think.
They should make us the leaders, the heads of the bracket making. Make sure East Idaho is nice and spread out across state champion the state tournaments. No, that's a great point. I don't understand the brackets. You don't understand the brackets. Brandon Bainey, who has looked into it extensively, doesn't understand the brackets. So what we got is this: Rockland's playing Mackey, and either Chalice or Ledor will take that third and final slot. I love that the Rocky Mountain Conference, since it is so full, gets 3 bids to state. I like that they don't have to play a state play-in game to get to state. But yeah, looking forward to that one. More popcorn games. Rockland Mackey, like you said, tale is as old as time. Going to be at Snake River on Saturday. Go out, see those games. Should be a blast. First game is at 6, followed by that game at 7:30. Rockland Mackey. Sean, that's district tournament play, and just like that, next week we're going to be doing the district, the state show for Idaho Sports. Yeah. Brandon Bain is going to be running that. We'll be going. You're doing 6A. I'm doing 2A. I'm looking forward to that show for sure.
Yeah, for the lights to shine brightest, I'll be on towards the end.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No, you're at the beginning. 6A's first.
I'll be at the beginning where the lights shine brightest.
Oh, okay. I don't
know. I don't know. No, yeah. It looks like Monday. Next Monday, we're gonna have the all classification preview show on IdahoSports.com. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of great information. I've been researching, as much as I can. You're trying to predict where these teams are gonna go, but I'm gonna tell you in 6A, since half the teams are from Boise. You're waiting forever, man.
Yeah.
And Eagle upset Owyhee, which was huge. So there, it's gonna be good. And obviously, I want to see where Madison and Rigby pan out of this picture. And we don't have a ton of 6A here, right? We just don't. So if Madison or Rigby gets a kind of a good draw, it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm more excited about that than my broadcast partner at 6A, but he's the boss, so I have to go. Like I don't get to choose,
Hey, he chose you, man. He's the boss, so that's a good thing, Sean.
He chose me.
He chose me. He gave you the flower.
Story on Valentine's
He gave you the
week.
rose, man. That's right. That's right. It is Valentine's week. He's got to keep you close to keep you reined in. All the hot takes. I got to put Mackie here for our picks. Okay. Hey, Sean, before we finish up with some boys, let's remind everyone, this show is brought to you by Ideal. It's a state-sponsored tax advantage savings plan that helps families pay for the cost of college. With the rising cost of college, developing a savings plan is the first and most important step in helping families finance a college education. An Ideal 529 account can be used towards higher education, a trade school apprenticeship, or even those student loan repayments. For more information, go to idsavings.org. Quick hits for boys' most intriguing games coming up, Sean. I got a couple. I got Firth, Ryrie, Water Springs, Chalice. Boys just have a few more games left, and then we get into their district tournament play, and we'll be hitting that in 2 weeks. I don't think we'll have a show next week, Sean, just because we'll be doing the our state tournament preview show for girls. But for boys, these most intriguing games between Firth, Ryrie, Water Springs, Chalice, which one do you like the most?
Yeah, I find Firth and Ryrie. It's just like the girls, right? You've got a conference, the nuke. It's going to come down to the bitter end. And yeah, I still kind of like Firth. You got a lot of those same people from basketball or from football playing basketball. Usually translates really well, and Firth always a strong team. So I'm very interested to see what happens there. Does it matter? Like, I feel like we get into these district tournaments when you talk about getting that number 1 seed and that home court advantage, and then at the end of the day, when the teams are so close this year, I think the parity level is at a high, which is fun for us. There's just so much parity, and it's not a foregone conclusion unless it's the Malad Dragons.
Totally. I picked these games because most games, Sean, most districts are solidified.
Yeah.
Everyone's in there 1 through 4, 1 through 5. But these two are the final games. Again, 1 or 2 games left across East Idaho for boys basketball. But Firth Ryrie, that's the battle for first. Only 1.5 bids to state. And you're probably right. But I'll push a little bit in that if you get that home court advantage, at least you have one less thing to worry about when you're going into that first, second, third game. If you're moving on, winning your game, so with 1.5 bids to state, I think you want that home court advantage, and so with Firth and Ryrie, I think that should be fantastic. Firth is 5-1, Ryrie's 4-2. With 1.5 bids to state, I think you want the home court advantage. But to your point, look, you lose this game, but you're good going to the district play because there is so much parity in that Nuke conference for the boys. And then Water Springs Chalice, another 8-1 Water Springs, 7-2 in Chalice. This is another tale as old as time, Sean. We've seen Chalice play on IdahoSports.com. Great team. Water Springs a little bit better. But this one, though, is a battle for third. With 3 bids to state, you get that third seed going to the district play. That could be huge as you have a little bit more advantage on that left side of the bracket if you end up losing, but you keep winning after that first loss and you're on that left side. With 3 bids to state, it's going to be interesting for this battle for third Water Springs Chalice.
Yeah, it's just really interesting to see what's going to happen, because I mean, basically a couple weeks ago you're like, Water Springs is the new dog in town, right? They're one in Max Preps. They beat Garden Valley, and then who did they lose to? It was Mackey, right?
Mackey, yep.
They lost to Mackey, right? So Mackey only has 1 loss in conference as well, too. So, I mean, a huge game for these two schools where, Chalice is a team I think you got to kind of start thinking, they're here to compete, right? They're not just sitting on the back burner. They're a team here ready to compete. And Chalice has got a lot of guys on their roster too. I always find that interesting and intriguing at the 1A level to actually have a pretty filled out roster. And they've got some big, tall guys too. So yeah, what a great game. And you just feel for Water Springs, right? I feel like it was not too long ago. It's like Water Springs, it's been Rockland, and and don't forget Rockland, guys. Rockland, if Rockland wins this district, I am not going to be surprised.
Yeah,
Coach Neal's, has got that team running. They give up some height though, and Chalice has some height. Water Spring definitely has some height. So there's going to be contrast of styles, but it'll be very interesting to see what happens in that game, and then how this bracket's going to pan out, and where Water Springs finds themselves, and maybe it's enough to push Chalice into the forefront here, get some games going.
Definitely. And I wish I knew how the tiebreaker works if Chalice does beat Water Springs in this final game of the season, how that ends up looking in their district tournament play. But man, any team that can come from behind like Chalice did against Grace Lutheran and play sound basketball down the stretch, they get my vote. And I've seen results from Water Springs, haven't seen them play live, and so I'm totally biased in that way. But I think with Chalice, with that grit and that determination, that confidence, when they came back against Grace Lutheran, ended up winning that game, and with assignment sound basketball, fundamentally sound basketball, I like Chalice in that one. But yeah, Water Springs, they were the team in town, right? The new team, and we like talking about them. As so very interesting in that final game who gets it. But yeah, you still got Mackey, you still got Rockland. They're 1-2. Mackey 9-1, Rockland 8-1, Water Springs 8-1 as well. Just a great top 3, top 4 Rocky Mountain Conference for the boys. Sean, where are you going to be this week? You have any more games?
I've got one more game.
Cool.
Wednesday night at the Snake Pit, it will be senior night for the Century Diamondbacks against Skyline, Joel's not favorite high school. And
like my wife.
Just joking. So It'll be good. There's some good seniors, and I think it might be senior night for the dance. It'll be a lot of reading for me.
Yeah, you got this.
No, it's fine. So
phonetic spelling.
Yeah, I just go talk to them, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. We get the big snake tunnel out, and yeah, that'll be my.
Is it the same one from football?
Oh yeah,
cool.
They get that out, walk through it with their parents, the whole 9 yards, candy bar necklaces, baskets of blankets, and aspirations after high school, and it's fun. It's I think a senior night is it's a interesting phenomenon that we have in high school sports. I'll put it that way, to where it's gotten so big, but it's a good time to recognize those players and what they've contributed, and I really think where the recognition goes is the parents and the family that have given this vessel, driving to practices, doing the stuff, giving them cookies, all those things, orange slices. So it'll be good. It'll be nice to finish up the basketball season. I'm always like happy that it's kind of over. It's a lot of games then now. And sometimes it's long, but it's been a lot of fun. One day I'll be that big time PA announcer like the Super Bowl, right?
Definitely, man. Definitely.
But it's been fun.
Right on. Well, a couple of housekeeping items, Sean. So next week we won't have an East Idaho Prepcast. We will join the preview show for girls state basketball. If you want me to wear a different shirt, if you want me to represent your school, let me know. At E1 Educador, do you see my X account below? Hit me up. Say, hey, Joel Richardson, we want you to wear Sugar Sandwiches, South Fremont, whatever. Malad Dragons basketball.
No, I want a Ledor shirt. Like
Ledor, man. Mackey, Rockland. Yeah, for sure. Rigby, Madison. We'd love to shout all your team outs. We'd love to represent you. So hit us up with some swag. We'll wear it on the show, a hat, beanie. We'll wear whatever, man. Sean will wear a dress, okay? And,
I will not wear whatever. I will make that a bold statement. I do 18 days have a very competitive tennis team to coach later. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. But in all seriousness, we want to shout out your program, your team. So if you want to send us swag, we'd love to show it out on the show. If you want to have your team player, coach on the show to talk about your team, reach out, let us know. We'd love to have them on the show as well. And it's been an hour, Sean, so let's get out of here. One more time, we want to recognize. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
No, I was just saying cut.
Okay, cut. Yeah. But just want to recognize one more time our awesome sponsor for the show, Ideal, state-sponsored tax advantage savings plan, helping families pay for the cost of college. Costs are going up. Great chance to develop a savings plan, which is a huge first step in saving up for that college education. Ideal 529 can be used towards higher education, trade school, apprenticeship, or student loan repayments. It's so easy. Awesome. Go to idsavings.org and start your 529 plan today. That's Sean Kane, or I guess that's Sean Kane. I'm Joel Richardson saying be excellent to each other. Enjoy the rest of the competition this week, and we'll be back next week for the state preview show on IdahoSports.com.